Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Here we are, Tuesday, September 3rd. Summer flew by. Kids are back in school. Mine were back in school last week. I think if your kids weren't back in school last week, they're in this week. So summer is not officially over based on the date, but it seems to be over, and we're heading towards those cooler nights, shorter days, and fall is personally my favorite season. So I love fall in New England. But anyway, great news here. Interest rates week after week after week continue to show improvement, and I have more good news for you today on our rate survey, and then a little update as to what I think we see happening in September as we move forward. So starting off with conforming loans, 1 point, 30-year fixed is at 6%, 20-year is at 5.625, 15-year is at 5.25, and the 5-year ARM is at 5.75. Moving on to jumbo, 30-year fix with a point, 5.9, 10-year ARM, 5.5, 7-year ARM, 5.25, and a 5-year ARM at 5.25 as well. So very low rates, and I want to take this time to really explain the difference between short-term rates, what the Fed controls, discount, federal funds rate, and long-term rates. We're talking about long-term rates when we talk about mortgages, 30, 15, 20 years. These are longer-term interest rates. So what the Fed does, we all anticipate a Fed cut coming this month. We're sort of working at about a quarter cut. And these rates, this decline in rates that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 weeks has really been a result of the Fed finally stepping up and sort of confirming he's likely to make a cut in September, right? We don't know. We don't know if it's a quarter, a half. Maybe he changes his mind, it's none. But these low rates really already factor in generally the next 6 months of activity. So I think there's a big misconception in the market where whether it be realtors or clients, where they think if the Fed cuts that rate a quarter, that automatically those mortgage rates in September come down by a quarter. And that is not the case. Those are short-term interest rates. Our long-term interest rates are already pricing in things like that. Now, what we're more looking for to affect these interest rates that we have today is what is the Fed going to do moving forward? Is he going to say something about, hey, I'm going to actually get more aggressive in cutting interest rates? Or you know what, inflation might come back, I'm going to get more conservative about cutting rates? Or is he going to cut it a half instead of a quarter? These are the kind of actions that we're looking for that will have an impact on long-term rates more than the quarter cut that the market already has priced in. And I would argue from my vantage point that if everything else remains equal, we cut a quarter, we don't really get any new updates about future cuts, I would argue that as demand increases in the fall market, which I anticipate more buyers and sellers, more refinance business, a higher demand on the banking system. I think these long-term rates could actually tick up a little bit from September to November. Hate to predict the future. It's just my prediction. I don't have a transparent crystal ball, but that could happen. So just keep that in mind, that difference between short-term interest rates, long-term interest rates. One other point to mention is that when the Fed makes those cut on the short-term rates, it does directly impact things like home equity loans that are tied to the prime rate, personal loans that are tied to the prime rate. So there are certain loan vehicles that are tied to that federal funds or discount rate or the prime rate that will immediately see an impact, a reduction of, say, a quarter or a half, depending on what the Fed does. But these long-term rates that we have right now, in the pretty much everything's in the fives at this point, is really a result of this pending rate cut that we expect this month. So if you have any questions on this or bridge loans or pre-approvals or really anything, please reach out to my team and I. It's themarqueeteam.com. And I hope you all have a great first week of fall, and good luck with the kids getting back into school. So we'll talk soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.